I shattered the rapist's knee with a hammer. Then I used a steel wire rope to hoist him up. When his broken leg hit the ground, his agonized screams echoed through the entire room. The next day, I woke the rapist up with a stream of piss, but he still wouldn't confess. So I stomped down on his shattered knee,
making his pain skyrocket all over again.
Ever since my daughter was raped and murdered, this was the first time I'd felt this excited. That day, my daughter was heading off to school. Who knew that when I saw her again that afternoon, she'd been nothing but a corpse, her underwear tossed aside, our thighs covered in a ton of blood. The heartache nearly stopped my breathing. Even though the police caught the killer, the guy showed zero remorse. Instead, he flashed a smug grin because he knew our country doesn't have the death penalty. The max he'd get is 20 years in prison. Since the law couldn't give me justice, I can only take matters into my own hands. The next day, I hijacked the transport vehicle. Halfway there, I knocked the killer out cold. Then, I brought him to my personal execution ground. On the first day, I shattered his kneecap, making him feel like death was a mercy. On the second day, the rapist finally got scared. He tried confessing to avoid more physical torment, but I was already furious beyond words. So I whipped him with an iron chain. The rapist kept begging for mercy. But when I thought of the despair my daughter went through, even beating him until his skin split open couldn't ease the hatred in my heart. Afterward, I hooked him up to an IV drip of nutrients, and I did that just so the torture could go on. I was getting justice for my daughter, but my wife said in an interview that I'd gone crazy. I angrily called her to confront her, but she just kept complaining about me. In the end, we had a huge fight, and after the argument, I showed no more mercy. I hauled the rapist onto the operating table. He was so terrified he wouldn't stop bleeding, and I'd prepared a special vial of drugs for him. It could paralyze a person's motor nerve, but it wouldn't make him lose consciousness. As the drug got injected into his body, the rapist went limp in an instant. Then, with my daughter watching over us, I began the utterly inhuman surgery.